hello to the people that are just filtering in just now. We are going to give it another 2 minutes just to give people a chance to come in. And for those of you that are in already, just double checking you have your equipment with you this evening. So this evening I asked if you could maybe have a bar, a broomstick, or a towel, one of those, and also a resistance band if that is possible, or just kind of small hand weights. Don't worry if not, it is not absolutely essential and we can still work through it without it. But if you haven't grabbed them, just grab them now. Great, guys. Good. And thank you to those that have turned on their cameras already. That's great. Especially with this evening session, it's always good for me to see what's going on. So just as a kind of technique thing. So if you want to turn your camera on, please do. That would be very helpful for me. Thank you, guys. Okay. I think we are fairly steady with our numbers just now, so I think we are ready to go. Just before we begin the session this evening, I'm going to give you just a quick overview of what we're planning to do tonight. I've changed the format a little bit, so it's less kind of warm up and main session. It all kind of flows in together. So there won't be any kind of standout warm up procedures. So if any of you have seen the session I sent through, our first block it's under warm up, but it kind of flows into the main session. So what you're actually going to need kind of straight off the bat is you're going to need your bar or whatever you have as the equivalent, so your broomstick or your towel. So just get that ready and have it nearby. I'm going to go over to the mat and I'm going to talk us through what we're going to do with this first block. So just get yourself ready and we will get started. So we're going to move through a couple of exercises which I have called Thoracic Flow, which is for your thoracic spine. That's just kind of the middle part of your spine that we all need as swimmers, especially with rotation. So we're going to warm up that way. So you're just going to have to flow along with me in this one. But we're actually going to start off with 6 downward dog dives, which is basically going from downward dog position through to upward dog and then back. So 6 of those. So dipping the chest all the way down. You might need to bend your arms to support that position. So 6 of those, and you might feel some cracks in your back. That is absolutely fine, as long as there is no pain. So 6 of our downward dog dives, and then coming straight into a tabletop position. Now this is going to seem a bit mechanical at the start, but it's just because I'm explaining what we're doing. So we're going to come up into a bear crawl position, and then we're going to feed one of our legs through, come up into a bridge, but you're going to keep your body bent. Wow, your body bent. So there's going to be a twist in the spine, driving the hips through, and coming back to that position, and the other way. So 6 in total of our thoracic bridges, driving the hips through and reaching the arm all the way over, and then coming back to that bear crawl position every time. So 6 in total. Just trying to get the movement right. Like I said, it might seem a bit mechanical just now. And then from there, I want you to meet me in our deep squat position. And we're going to go for 10 deep squat thoracic openers. So really keeping the chest up. So you should actually be able to sit like this without any assistance and open up. So just think of it that way. If you were to take your hands off the ground, there shouldn't really be anything changing. The body position shouldn't change. So you should be upright whilst you work through your 10. And then once you've done that, coming down onto the front, and we're going to take 6 blackbirds. So we've done these loads, head on the mat, hands out in front, and then they come round the side and to the back for that kind of handcuff position, making sure the arms are moving along the same plane for 6. And then up onto your feet. So when you hop up onto your feet, I want you to grab your bar or whatever you have equivalent. Now, this is a really light bar, that's what we're wanting. It doesn't have to be anything heavy. So take it behind your back so you can see here. I'm going to kneel down so you can see, but I have it just in that back squat position. And we're going to be standing, and we're going to take 5 good mornings. So get a good standing point. And all you're going to do is hinge at the hips and push the bum back towards the wall. Lovely, guys. And then back up. Making sure you're coming up to that standing point every time and always pushing the bum backwards. That's one of our key points. Don't arch the back. Some of you might not be able to get as far as others. You'll probably be able to see that my hamstring flexibility is not very good. But it's just about working with what you have available. So we're doing about 6 of those, so I've got 1 more. And then I want you to keep that bar on your back, okay? Because we're going to be using it. I'm going to turn around just to face you. So we're going to go into 5 drop squats. So basically, I definitely don't have a big enough room to show you this. But what we're going to do, so don't do it yet, is come up onto the toes, and then in your own time, dropping down, but as you drop down, the bar comes overhead. So we're catching it above our head, and then back up. Notice the change in my feet, okay? So they start off in a fairly narrow position. When I come up into the toes, they're still there. But when I drop down, they come out wide to support me. So look for that change in yourself whilst you're doing it. So there's 5 of those. Working through it in your own time, and also changing how long you spend up on the toes. So it can be a long time, or it can be a short time. But make sure it's nice and snappy, and that bar is going up, straight above your head. Good job, guys. I'm just gonna keep an eye, see how we're going. Really nice. And keeping that back position nice and strong. We don't want to see any arching, so don't even stick out the bum. It should be a nice strong position. Good job. So once we've done 5 of those, that is round 1 of that complete. So hopefully when we go into round 2, it's going to flow a lot better. We'll know what we're doing, and our body will feel a bit more woken up. So give you guys a couple more seconds to finish up those 5, and then we're just going to get right back into the start again. So coming back onto the floor, and we're going to take 6 downward dog dives. So really beginning to just flow through this movement now. And remember always to kind of manage your breathing as you go through this. I'm not demonstrating that very well because I'm talking, but try and give yourself a chance to breathe in those positions. So 6 of those. And then remember flowing into the next pose, which is our thoracic bridges. So coming up into bear crawl position and then feeding a leg through, twisting the spine whilst driving the hips through, reaching over, and then coming back to center, swapping over. So 6 in total of our bridges. Excuse me, my door's gone. Hello, I'm still here. Okay, and then guys, we're moving into, if you haven't already, we're going into our squat rotations. So deep squat, and then opening up, rotating side to side. A chance to kind of get a normal breathing pattern back as you work through the 10 rotations in that deep squat position. And then from there, after the 10, coming onto your front for 6 Blackburns. So hopefully you've felt a wee bit of a change in the range that you can have in your shoulders, in your spine. Six of those, and then up onto the feet for the stuff with the bar, so our bar work. Bar coming behind head, and then taking 6 good mornings. So standing in a strong position, hinging at the hips, and just going as far until you feel a stretch, basically. So this is how far I can go, and that's far enough. And don't push it, don't try and lock the knees out. Just keep them fairly soft. If you have to bend them, that is okay. 6 of those. And then we take 5 of our drop squats. So remember, start off position is nice and narrow, and then dropping down into that wide position. Bar coming overhead. Remember, the bar should be above the crown of your head. So we don't want it sitting behind us, so none of the overextending behind. That threw me off balance. That's a good demonstration, and not too far forward either. So these kind of skills are just setting us up for specific kind of lifting types that you might end up doing in the gym when we can return. So once you've done 5 of those, we will quickly chat about what's next, and I will send that into the chat now. Okie dokie. Okay guys, so keep your bars close for the next part. So we're just focusing on block 1 just now, don't worry about the second part. Block 1 this evening, we're going to be doing 3 rounds of this. And it's very much the same style that we kind of did last week, where we performed the exercises one after the other and then took some rest. Now it's a wee bit harder this week, so it is okay if you need a break in between exercises. So this evening our exercises are squat jump, and then we go into a squat with overhead press, and then an overhead squat. So I am going to quickly demonstrate that. I'm going to tilt this so you can see potentially overhead squat. So you'll see it's a short amount of reps, but that is on purpose. So squat jump, tonight we're utilizing our bar, okay? So getting a good position on the bar with our hands. The key is to pull the bar apart. So that pulls our shoulders back. And then we come down, nice springy jump, land back, reset, same again. Okay, the whole time, pulling that bar apart and creating that nice close contact with the shoulders. And then the next exercise, it's quite hard. So we're going to be doing 3 of these. So we come down into a low squat position, 5 overhead press from behind, and then we come back up to standing, back down, 5, and then back up, and then 1 more, and then we move on to the next exercise, which is just our overhead squat. So getting a nice wide position with the feet. Remember, bar sits above the crown of the head, not too far back, not too far forward, and it always stays there. So if you're going to focus on something throughout this whole session, it's pulling the bar apart, okay? That keeps your arms locked in place, and it means the bar won't move forward or backwards. So those are our exercises for this first block, everybody. So we have 3 rounds of this. And I will work along with you so that we can take rest together, so we're not getting too far ahead or too far behind. So just trying to keep up with me if that is possible. So yes, we will get started in 15 seconds. So set yourself up and we'll work through this together. So starting off with our squat jumps. So getting the bar set up, ready, behind the back. The hands can be out quite wide if you would like. Okay, everybody. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So remember, reset every time. Good job, everyone. Really nice. Okay, next one's the tricky one. Coming down into that low squat position. Keeping the chest up, trying to keep the head forward. You can see I'm facing you guys just now. As soon as we look down, we lose balance and we're in the wrong position. And then back up. So 5 in that low squat position. Remember, that head up is really important. And then up again. Shake the legs off a wee bit for the last one coming down. And then 5. So the last 5 in this position. And then coming back up. Now adjust yourself, because now we're coming into our overhead squat. So arms coming up overhead, pulling the bar apart, sorting the feet position out, and then coming down. Now we don't have to go down too far with this. So not as far as we did in the exercise before. 5 of those. And then you can put your bar down. This is very much a whole body exercise. So if you're feeling some kind of maybe kind of cramping feeling in the spine, this is actually what we're wanting. So we're working on the tightness in your thoracic spine. So we want to loosen that off a lot, kind of making you more athletic. So we'll take 30 seconds from here before we go into the next round. So if you need to grab some water, please grab it. And this evening is just all about working on that strength and that athleticism, so we're not going to rush our way through it. Okay. Get yourself set up again. So grabbing the bar, behind the head, and we'll begin in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Good work, guys. Next one. Really good. On to the next exercise, low squat. Might need to adjust in that bottom position. And you might not actually be able to get down that low with this, based on how your spine is. So if your back's a wee bit tight, it might restrict us in that overhead position. So only go down as far as you can maintain that good technique. And as always, remember to work on that breathing in these positions that are ultimately quite stressful. And then back up, setting yourselves up for the overhead squat, wider foot position, and then pulling bar apart, coming down. Really nice. Really good technique, guys. Very well done. So breathing in as you go down and out on the way up. Really good job. Put your bars down after you've done 5. And we'll just take a minute's rest from here. How are we getting on? Give me a thumbs up if we're all right. We're all good? Good, lovely. My old granny hips are suffering, but that's on me. Okay, so around about 30 seconds before we go into the last round of this. So round 3, you've been excellent with this, guys. Really, really quick to understand the technique. Okay, so last chance to grab a sip of water. The rest of us can set up. So remember all our coaching points. I won't tell you them this round. Okay, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Squat jumps. Driving through the legs. Last one. And then down into squat with overhead press. Lovely, everybody. One more rep of this. The hardest one of the whole session. Then back up. Give the legs a wee shake. And then onto the overhead squat. Okay, the last one of this block. Really nice. Put your bars down. Give the legs a wee bit of a shake off. They're going to be feeling interesting. And just take any movement that you want to recover from that. Okay, so I'll give us a little chance for a break whilst I go over the next block. But the next block is our upper body. So it's quite a short block. But for this, you're going to need your resistance bands or your small weights. And you will only need it for one of the exercises in this. So our exercises in this block are Landmine Press, which some of you might have not seen before, and downward dog press ups, which I think we might have done once or twice in the sessions. So we're going to do 8 landmine press each arm. I'll just demonstrate them in a minute. And then we're going to take 5 downward dog press ups. There's going to be 3 rounds of that. Okay. Actually, changed my mind. Forget about the reps, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to do it on a time-based kind of work schedule, I guess, instead of reps. So what we'll do is we'll just work for 30 seconds and rest for 20, which means we're not kind of chasing the reps, we're just chasing the quality of the exercise. So yeah, don't worry about reps, we'll just go 30 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So landmine press is, usually I would double my band up for this, but for this evening, just because that might be a little harder, I want you to stand on the band, making sure it's still quite tight. And out in front of you, the band will be pressed, okay? So there is a slight tilt to my body position, as you can see, but it's just pressing out in front of you. So we'll be doing that for 30 seconds on one arm, and then swapping over 30 seconds on the other arm, just for you to see. So in a way, it's quite an athletic stance, and it's also kind of in a very high boxing position. I'm definitely not an expert, but the thing that never changes is where the arm is. So it always stays on the same line, the same plane. So it's only a drive out and back. If you want and you find it not not that difficult. You want a wee bit more resistance, and I might actually do this, is to stand on your band and get both sides into your hand and then press out. That way there's resistance at all points of the exercise. So it's just up to you guys what you want to get from this session. Landmine press, and then we go into downward dog press ups. Now, we have done this before. So getting into downward facing dog, and all we're doing is a small movement, dropping the elbows down to the mat and then pushing through the hands. So really small movement, but very, very good for strength in our upper body. So just dropping the elbows down and then pushing the hands up to return to that downward facing dog position. Okay, so those are our exercises, 3 rounds of those, and we're going 30 on, 20 off. And I will be doing them with you, so I'll call them out if we forget. But yes, unless there are any questions, we will get ourselves set up, guys. So making sure your bands are ready. And we will go in 10 seconds, okay? So get that band ready. In 5, 3, 2, 1, off we go. So remember, set up that really nice athletic position. Arm just comes out almost straight in front of you, not up, not out straight, but at the diagonal. Halfway on this arm. 5, 3, 2, 1, rest there. If you've doubled up your band, it gives you a chance to swap over. So other side, excuse me. So athletic stance, get the band ready, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Feel free to use your other arm as some sort of support. Mine's just floating in front of me. But if you need it for balance, just take it. This is a great stability exercise and upper body exercise. We're just over halfway. Keep it up. Don't compromise that position. 3, 2, 1, rest there. Coming down onto the mat for our down dog press ups. Okay, going in 5. So get yourself set up. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So nothing should change apart from your elbows dropping down to the mat and then driving through the hands back up. And very much do this at your own speed. We are already halfway. So don't worry about going too slow here. 3, 2, 1, rest there. We're going to go straight into the next round. So we've got 15 seconds before we go again. So back up onto our feet for landmine press. And remember, there's ways to make it easier or harder. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So halfway, starting to get pretty tired now. 3, 2, 1, rest there. Give the arms a wee wiggle. We'll be starting to fatigue now. And we're going in less than 10 seconds. For the other side. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So keeping that elbow tucked in as well. So it shouldn't be flaring out whilst we do this. Three, two, one, rest there. Down onto the floor. So after this one, we'll have one more round of our upper body, and then we'll be going into core. Okay, in 5, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Halfway. Three, two, one, rest there. One more round. You guys can do it. You're strong. One more round in 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, off we go. And you might find as we do this that one arm is much better than the other. I think my strong arm is my right arm. Halfway. Controlling the movement. The slower you do this one, the harder it is. Have a think about that, but don't rush through it. 2, 1, rest there, swap over. Okay. In 5, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Don't mind me, I just need to close one of my apps down. Okay, keep going, guys. Halfway. Really good. 3, 2, 1, rest there. We are done with Landmine Press. The band can go to the side. Coming down onto the mat for our last downward dog press up. In 5, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Last one. Making sure that tailbone is driving up towards the ceiling. So always take those checks. Nice, strong position. 5, 3, 2, 1, rest there. Really good job, everybody. Nice work. Oh, just give the arms a little rest and we will finish off our session with our usual core workout. So let me just sort my timer out. This evening, we are going to be doing, so our exercises this evening are plank, and then we're going into high to low boat, then back to plank, and then scissor kick. So plank, preferably this evening, I'd like you to do it down on the forearms or the elbows. So nice strong position, grounding the feet into the floor and the elbows into the ground. So plank, and then going into high to low boat. So that's just from here, out here, and back. And always tapping the heels, just as a reference as to how far you should go every time. So high to low boat, back to plank, and then scissor kicks. We've done a lot of flutter kicks, but I don't think we've ever done scissor kicks. So putting the hands just underneath the bum for some stability. And then instead of going this way, we're going to go this way. So crossing the feet over each other, side to side, okay? And trying to keep them, I know my feet are really high up just now, but trying to keep them nice and low to the ground. So scissor kicks this evening instead of flutter kicks. We're just changing it up a wee bit. 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 2 rounds as always. Our nice finisher at the end of the session, and then we'll go into some stretches. And don't worry, I'll be calling the exercises out as we go. So we will get going, everybody, in 10 seconds. So set yourself up for starting in plank position. Okay. So in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So holding a really stable position. You can widen your stance if you wish, but try not to move too much. Halfway. Holding on, final 10. 3, 2, 1, down we come. 20 seconds rest, next exercise, high to low boat. In 10. Okay, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Halfway. Ten seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, rest there. Coming back round onto our fronts for plank. In 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Really strong. Halfway. Ten. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's us resting onto our backs. Last exercise of this round, scissor kicks. Getting that positioning right, using your hands to support your lower back almost under your glutes. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Side to side. You can change, I was going to say you can change direction, but they are both going the same way. Keep it up. Halfway. Time to go. 3, 2, 1, rest there. One more round. Back onto the front for plank. You can do it. Final push. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, off we go. Halfway. 10. 3, 2, 1. Rest there. Good job, everyone. 3 exercises to go. High to low boat. In 5, 3, 2, 1. Off we go. Halfway there. Keep up. Last 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. Rest there. Almost there. One more plank. The abs will be rock solid after this evening. 5, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Second last one, sorry. False alarm. Last plank of the session. And whilst you're here, have a think about the stretches we want to do this evening. I think there'll be a lot of hip stretches that are going to be done this evening. 5 to go. 3, 2, 1. Rest there. Final exercise, scissor kicks. And then we will work in those stretches. Really solid work tonight. You should be proud of yourselves, guys. 3, 2, 1. Off we go. Last one. Scissor kicking. Halfway. Final 10. 3, 2, 1, and we are done. Nice work, everybody. And if we have any suggestions for stretches this evening, I will probably prioritize some hip stretches. I think we all need it. So we've already had some requests for pigeonhole and dragon stretch, so lower back stretch, of course. Okay. Right, guys. Okay. I can work with that, I think. Right, so back down onto the floor. And one really nice one for the lower back and might help with our hips as well, is if we come into just a cross-legged position. So just normal cross-legged position, your legs can be any way you wish. And then we're gonna just walk the hands out in front of us. So coming as far as you can, and then just drop the elbows down if that's possible. And it might not feel like anything yet, but as we kind of relax into the stretch, things will be able to move a bit easier. So just settling the breathing down. And we're just going to stay here for a little bit longer. So just completely letting yourself go here. I did have a stretch in mind there, it's actually gone. So we are now going to hold here until I remember what it was. Okay, walking the hands back up, I've remembered, we're all good. So we're going to go into what's called puppy pose or melting heart pose. So coming into a tabletop position, and then what I want you to do is walk your hands out nice and far in front of you, and we're going to drop the chest down onto the floor. So my legs have stayed in the same position, arms are out in front, and chest comes down, melts down to the floor or towards the floor. It might not be touching. And you can rest your forehead on the floor or the side of your head on the floor. Just staying here for a little bit longer. And then slowly walk the hands back in towards the body. And we are actually going to go into dragon pose next, but we just need a wee bit of a reset before going straight into that. Okay, so into our dragon pose, so taking our right foot up and dropping our left knee down onto the mat. So right foot all the way up to the hand. And this evening we'll just have the foot on the outside of the hand. So your body isn't lying on the knee, if that helps. It's sitting just outside. If you want a little bit more, you can actually kind of come up and using the right hand gently push onto the knee, so it's pushing it slightly out to the side. So only if you want a little bit more. When you do that, your body turns towards that knee. So if you're staying there, we won't be there for too long. It's quite an intense stretch. So if you did take the advanced option of turning the knee out, just come back to normal dragon pose. And then tonight, we're just going to walk our hands back and just take a little bit of a half split stretch. You can actually come and sit down into that pose. This is actually called saddle pose if we were to do it this way. So leg is straight out. If your knees hyperextend, so if they kind of almost bend backwards, just come up into that higher position for me. So if your knees hyperextend, just up into this tall position. Okay, and then bring that leg round to meet the other. We'll swap over, so left leg comes up into dragon, dropping the right knee down. And we'll all stay here just now, and I will just call it when we decide to advance it, or if you choose to advance it. Okay, so if you want to push the knee out further to the side and rotate the body round, now is the time to do so. And then coming back to that center dragon pose, so just the neutral dragon pose. And then walking the hands back into that half split or down into that saddle pose. So remember, support your knee, look after it, don't lock it out. So just work with what flexibility that you do have. Usually we would have something like a book or a block underneath that left glute, so it meant that we had some sort of support. Okay, and then walking the hands back into tabletop. We'll take a few cat-cow movements just in your own time. Just tucking the head down, pushing the spine up. So just some free movement. And then we will finish off the session there, everybody. So thank you very much again. And I will see you at the weekend. I hope you have a lovely week.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.